Alright, folks. Ny'ardbert here. So, we've finished up getting a very pointy stick. We've dealt with the Elder Primal and gotten to know Alizé. And now it is time for the most important thing left to do, which is finishing the ARR Hildibrand questline. So let's see what our favorite gentleman inspector is up to. I was wondering when you'd show up, Ny'ardbert. I hope you haven't made any plans for the night because we got a situation on our hands. Remember our good friend the Phantom Thief? Well, it seems he's decided to branch out from burglary to cold-blooded murder. If the rumors to be believed, he's claimed 3 victims already, all influential members of Ul'dan society. Mr. Many Faces has been kind enough to leave one of his signature calling cards at every scene, leaving no doubt as to the identity of the murderer. The message is always the same. The weight of 5 corpses will bring the scales of justice to balance. More riddles. Not that you'll hear me complaining. No, the only thing my readers like more than a good mystery is a good murder mystery. Ever since the story broke, the Mithril Eye's been selling like Pond's cakes. The only rub is that it's left me no time to look into the thief's last message. Until now, that is. Shall we, Ny'ardbert? The hidden treasure of Ul'dah, was it? If there's anyone who can shed some light on this, it's you-know-who. To Sunsilk Tapestries. Why would Hildibrand be at the tapestry shop? It's this way, likely, right? Ah, Wymond. I should have known. You enjoying looking at that tree? It is the Easter event / Little Ladies' Day event. I'm not sure what in-universe holiday, or say what like real-world holiday Little Ladies' Day is meant to represent. It might be a Japanese thing. I'm assuming it probably is because of the focus on cherry blossoms. But I haven't done that event just yet. Well now, if it ain't my favorite adventurer and my favorite Mithril Eye reporter along with him. Tell me, what have I done to deserve the pleasure of your company today? I see. As much as I'd like to help 2 of my best mates, I'm afraid you found old Wymond at a loss. Ul'dah has more than its fair share of treasures, hidden and otherwise. I reckon our Phantom friend could be after just about any of them. I can tell you this much, though. Whatever the thief's got his eyes on, it's got the Sultan sworn and a right dither. Word has it they've formed a regiment of their best and brightest to safeguard the royal vaults from this very threat. And they didn't tell me? The Sultan sworn aren't like to be forthcoming with information, but it's the only lead we've got. Come on, Ny'ardbert, I'd say it's time you paid a visit to the heart of the sworn. Oi, hold up there, Ellie. I ain't generally the worrying type, but you may want to think twice before getting yourself involved in this. A man in my business develops a nose for danger, and this time the stench is something fierce. You're a reporter, Ellie, and a fine one at that. Don't put that pretty neck of yours at risk trying to play hero. Your concern is touching, but I can assure you that I'm ready for whatever dangers lie ahead. Besides, being a reporter is about more than selling papers. I have a duty to seek out the truth and convey it to people. Come, Ny'ardbert, time is of the essence. Okay, so that's probably off by the Royal Promenade. Oh, I looked right past it. Humphrey. Where have I seen this man before? Is he in the tournament? Or is this the guy who stole someone's sword? Halt! Only authorized personnel are allowed in... Thal, bugger me with a broadsword. It's the Gentleman of Light's adventuring companion, and that catty but cute reporter from the Mithril Eye. Well, well, if it isn't the self-styled Warrior of Light. Tell me, what tall tales did you spin to the Sultan's sworn recruiter to land yourself in this position? Only the 12's honest truth, miss. Seeing that Gentleman of Light standing tall and triumphant that day, it moved me, to the depths of me soul. I vowed to put aside my sketchy past and serve the realm just like my hero, Master Hildibrand. The Sultan sworn were impressed with my commitment and my sword arm, and they gladly welcomed me into their ranks. Wait, don't tell me. You've come to assist Master Hildibrand in this investigation, haven't you? Cor, why didn't you say so sooner? It's the least I could do to help the mates who united me with my role model. You'll be wanting to speak with Phyllis. She's one of the Sworn's best and something of a history buff, it would seem. When she heard the thief was targeting the 4 relics of Belladia, she personally stepped forward and volunteered to lead the investigation. If anyone has the information you're looking for, it would be her. Wait here while I get her. I can trust you not to touch anything, I mean, we're outside. I think this is public property, right? But yeah, sure. A pleasure to meet you, Phyllis. My name is Ellie from the Mithril Eye. As you may have heard, we're researching the Phantom Thief case and would appreciate any information that may shed light on recent events. The pleasure is mine, Miss Ellie. And if I'm not mistaken, that would make your companion friend here one Ny'ardbert Tia, yes? Yes, ma'am. You know Ny'ardbert? As any regular reader of the Mithril Eye would, I must confess to being something of an unabashed fan of your work. Though it hardly befits my station to say this, I was secretly hoping that you would show up to assist in the investigation. Doubtless the Inspector, too, will also welcome a helping hand. The Sultan sworn. The elite of Uldar's elite. I can only hope they prove more competent than the bungling mercenaries I've dealt with thus far. Inspector Briarden, always one step ahead of us. Miss Ellie, Ny'ardbert, a moment if you would. Right there, very good. Now face me and don't move an elm. Inspector? What's that in your... Demasking dust. A formula of my own devising that will allow us to see right through the thief's disguises. Analyzing the mask left behind at Vesper Bay, I was able to identify its composition and synthesize a counter-agent that would dissolve the disguise whilst leaving the wearer's face intact. In any event, it would appear the two of you are indeed who you appear to be. Brilliant, Inspector. The Phantom Thieves pulled the wool over our eyes for the last time. I fear it won't be so simple. The ingredients necessary to produce the dust are exceedingly rare. Even with the entire resources of the Sultan's sworn at our disposal, we were only able to produce a limited supply. I see. Well, I suppose it's better than nothing. That said, have you been able to identify the thief's next target? A hidden treasure of Uldar, the last of the 4 lost relics of Belladia? I fear not. I've pored through the histories time and again, but the only mention of these 4 relics is a vague reference to an old prophecy. Most serious scholars consider it little more than a fairy tale. When darkness falls and hope fades to despair, 4 warriors born of light shall descend in the righteous glare. The legend goes on to describe 4 sacred artifacts, one each possessed by these 4 Belladian heroes, but makes no mention as to their appearance or nature. 3 times we've tried to identify the thief's target, and 3 times has he foiled us by making off with something else entirely. Needless speculation will only play to the fiend's strengths. All artifacts of Belladian origin have been sealed within the royal vault, and a regiment of our finest assigned to its protection. I have furnished all the guards with a supply of demasking dust, and instructed them to be on the lookout for any suspicious personages. The Blackguard will be in chains before he can lay a dirty hand on the vault doors, let alone the treasure within. You have our word, my lady. But there are even more disturbing matters at hand. Doubtless you've heard of the recent rash of murders perpetrated by our quarry. The Sultan's sworn have launched an investigation, but The truth of the matter is that we've been far too occupied with the defense of the vault to make any meaningful progress. We'd be most grateful for any assistance you could offer.
A lady asks and a gentleman answers. Cast all worry from your heart, my lady. Hildibrand, Agent of Enquiry, Inspector Extraordinaire, has arrived to set right what is wrong and bring the wicked to justice. And this must be the demasking dust that is the talk of the palace. Ah, but you need not waste your supply on me, Inspector. I assure you that I am exactly who I claim to be. A shame, that.
Inspector Hildibrand, we were not expecting you, but your services are most welcome. I will share all I know about the recent murders. The killer has claimed 3 victims thus far: the head of a publishing consortium, a high-ranking government official, and an influential scholar. Other than that they were all influential figures in their respective circles, we can identify no common threads connecting the 3.
Oh, this will prove a most satisfying case to crack indeed. And what of the method of killing? Conked over the head with a cudgel? Gutted with a greatsword? Strangled with a subligar, mayhap?
I'm afraid that we've identified no pattern. In any event, the murderer plots the deaths of 2 more even as we speak. We must take action, and quickly.
Understood, my lady. Clues may be scarce, but worry not. My realm-renowned powers of deduction are more than up to the task. I will see this burglar-turned-butcher delivered to justice.
Your presence is heartening indeed, Inspector Hildibrand. Friends, please take this demasking dust with you. I fear we can spare but a single sachet, but I trust you will put it to good use. I wonder if that's supposed to be sachet. I'm going to stick with sachet. The gentleman of light in the flesh. Hells, he's ever been as muscular and majestic as I remember. Oh, you teleported behind me. And Phyllis, you as well. On behalf of the Sultan Sworn, your assistance with the murder investigation is greatly appreciated. Leave the defense of the Royal Vault to us. He may have 1,000 faces, but with Inspector Briarden's demasking dust, this masquerade will soon be over.
Come to accompany me on yet another case, friend. I like your gusto, but if you're auditioning to be my assistant, I fear that role has already been filled most ably. Still, a gentleman welcomes the support of all of his admirers. I shall henceforth name you thusly, Ny'ardbert, my ever-loyal associate. And now, my ever-loyal associate, the investigation calls. I propose that we begin by inspecting the site at which the most recent victim met his demise. My questioning about the place has revealed that this scholar's body was found not far from the 80 Sins of Sosimo. Even the most circumspect of criminals cannot help but leave behind clues. Clues that will not elude my gaze. Friends, let us be off. Pray, alert me should you see anyone suspicious, my ever-loyal associate. We must put Miss Phyllis's demasking dust to good use.
Pretty close to the city walls. But then again, distance is always kind of fucky in this game.
Flowers. How intriguing. Flowers. Yes, it is all becoming clear now. Our phantom killer is a florist, who, in his hurry to escape, carelessly mislaid his wares.
Just what do you think you're doing, eh? Eh? I'm the one that put those flowers there, eh? To honor the memory of me poor boy. You dare defile his memory, eh? Eh?
1,000 pardons, my lady. Please accept my most sincere condolences on your loss. I am Hildibrand, agent of enquiries and inspector extraordinaire. I swear to you, on my own dear mother's name, that your son's killer will be brought to justice. As I was just saying, these flowers were clearly placed here by the family of the deceased, which can only mean...
Leave this place. Run away while you still can. Run. Far, far away. Run or he'll turn you into a zombie, just like my poor, poor boy.
A living person turned into a zombie? Nonsense.
Not nonsense, my boy. History. Or have you not heard of the horrors of Silda? Aye, Ulda's sibling nation against which we waged war centuries ago. Much blood was shed by both sides, aye, but I speak of far greater horrors than death. An unholy draught brewed by a Sildan alchemist, one with the power to turn the living to the undead, that his nation might command an army of mindless, deathless soldiers, the traitor's spurn. They turned my poor boy into a heap of rotten flesh and ran him through. But you won't hear that from the Sultan sworn. Fall alone knows why, but they whisked the body away before I could do so much as pay me last respects. The traitor's sperm? I've heard the stories, but I never thought them true. Be able to procure such a frightening thing. Just who are we dealing with here? A Sildan, I'm sure of it. Aye, only a Sildan would know the recipe. But the last remnants of Silda died 4 centuries ago, you say? Oh, they did, they did. He calls himself the Phantom Thief, he does. But did it ever occur to you that he might be an honest-to-God's phantom? Eh? Eh? Heard the tales from my own great-great-grandma, I did, about the 4 relics of Balatia and the powers they hold, the power to exact justice. A spectre of Silda has returned to wreak vengeance on us. Woe, woe unto us all! Have the 4 warriors of light forsaken us? My dear boy, if only you'd become a traitor like your father. If only you'd kept your nose out of those history books and never so much breathed the accursed name of Silda. But you did, and now we're doomed! 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 Ah! That was a lot. Bleeding horsestone's here somewhere. I can feel it in me follicles.
The most potent hair tonic the realm has seen? Aye, that it was. For all of a fortnight afore my flowing locks fell out all over again, and just as I was chatting up a lovely young lass at the quicksand, just to twist the knife an extra ilm. Mountebank! Charlatan! I'll find that so-called inspector and his sorry band, and pull every last strand of hair from their bleeding skulls.
Oh, the Stalker Lalafell's there, too.
Shades from Silda, living men turned to zombies. The old crone's lost not just her son, but her wits as well. It's all becoming clear to me now. That dear old woman's testimony has confirmed that which I'd suspected from the start. Like a zombie picking away at its rotting flesh, Hildibrand, agent of enquiry, inspector extraordinaire, has peeled away the foul scab of uncertainty to reveal the truth within. Open your ears, and feast your minds on the fruits of my flawless deduction. Ahem. Our phantom thief is a phantom indeed, a wayward spirit caught between the realm of the living and the dead for nigh on centuries, since meeting a tragic end on the battlefield. As such, our course of action is clear. We must placate this tortured soul, that it might abandon its vengeful vendetta and travel to the next life in peace. But what is the true nature of the spectre's grievances? Without this knowledge, we cannot hope to assuage its rancor. Let's begin our search at the Thaumaturger's Guild. Doubtless the tomes there contain a wealth of knowledge on the ill blood between the sibling nations. Notwithstanding the abject stupidity of everything else that came out of your mouth, some knowledge of Silda might serve us well. Go, research as you will, and do take as much time as you need. You can count on me, Inspector Briarden. Whatever knowledge is to be gleaned at the guild, it shall not escape my inspector's eye.
Surprised Noshu didn't go with him.
I'd be much obliged if you could keep him out of the way, Ny'ardbert. I have some real investigating to do, and would prefer to be free of distractions.
Why is that my job? Alright, fine. Alright, right around the corner, and here we are. I do like these seasonal decorations. Researching the ancient feud between Ul'dah and Silda, are you? Most impressive. Young people these days show so little interest in learning from the past. Anyhow, I'm pleased to say I had more than a passing familiarity with ancient history. To understand the history of the siblings' nations, one must go back further still to the birth of their mother nation, Baladia. The Fifth Astral Era was an age of untold wonders, when the arcane arts burgeoned and the great civilizations that commanded such powers flourished. This age of enlightenment would not last, however. Power bred avarice, and avarice bred resentment. It culminated in the War of the Magi, which brought the great floods of the Sixth Umbral Calamity, which in turn swallowed once proud nations and left a battered wasteland in its wake. Mages were reviled and persecuted for having caused this catastrophe, with many forced to leave their homelands or face death. It was a small band of those survivors that found their way to Thanalan, where they would found the nation of Baladia some 8 centuries agone. Imagine, a government of mages, by mages, and for mages. What wonders might have been wrought had Baladian civilization survived to this very day. Alas, this was not to be. They say that the Thief of Many Faces is collecting the 4 relics of ancient Baladia. Do you suppose he'd be kind enough to show them to me when he's done? Even a cursory glance at them would do wonders for my research.
It's fun having this history come up, because if you remember back when we were doing the monk quests, this was one of the many things that our teacher went on a whole tangent about. Hildibrand, what are you doing in the corner? Knowledge is power, and surely our thaumaturge friends have a wealth of knowledge on the feud between Ul'dah and Silda. Let's begin our inquiry. Erasmus. Okay, that's not the old guy. I could have sworn that's what the old guy's name was. You don't say. It's not every day someone comes to our halls to research Silda. As a fellow student of history, though, I more than welcome the conversation. Baladian civilization flourished in relative peace until twin sons were born to the royal family. The two were fierce rivals, and when they came of age and their father passed, each one claimed that he was the rightful heir to the throne. With neither son willing to relinquish his claim, they agreed to split their kingdom in 2, forming the twin nations of Ul'dah and Silda. But not unlike the 2 proud princes, the sibling nations developed a penchant for rivalry.
Greetings, traveler. You would learn of the war between Ul'dah and the fallen Sultanate of Silda. It will be my pleasure to enlighten you. The two city-states had coexisted for several generations until the bad blood between them boiled over, culminating in outright war. As you might deduce from the present state of affairs, Ul'dah emerged victorious, leaving its once proud sibling nation in smouldering ruins. As the histories tell it, the battles fought between the sister nations were the stuff of nightmares. In a desperate attempt to overcome the Uldah's superior numbers, Sildan alchemists devised a most horrific stratagem. Employing a frightful formula known as the Traitor's Spurn, they brought their fallen warriors back as undead soldiers. Some theories have it that they even employed the potion on those of the living who were too weak or wounded to fight. Sends shivers up the spine just thinking about it, no? It is truly a crowning glory of our fair nation that our forebears were able to emerge victorious against these horrors. The mere thought of a nation turning its own citizens into mindless zombies. While I am loath to speak ill of the fallen, I can only conclude that the prospect of losing the war drove the Sildan stark staring mad. Whoa. That's quite the jump. What's that you say? You seek knowledge of the bad blood between Ul'dah and Silda. I suppose I can spare a moment or two, but take good notes. I'm not fond of repeating myself. 2 scales, one of gold and one of silver. The gold of Ul'dah weighing prosperity and power. The silver of Silda weighing knowledge and power. But the power sought by the two nations differed greatly. Yes, greatly indeed. The power wrought by Ul'dah prosperity was that of justice and good, while the power wrought by Sildan knowledge was horrific beyond belief. The power to rip the living soul out of a man and render him a mindless killing machine. On this matter, the histories are clear. But riddle me this, my friend. Who writes the histories? And what does this say of the words writ within? Yes, truth can be elusive and fickle as the shifting sands. As one example, did you know that in the war against Silda, Ul'dah, and Amalja, warriors fought side by side? Likely you did not, and neither did I, until I encountered a faded passage in an ancient text buried deep in our archives. And yet, in the histories read by the populace, you will see no mention of this most fascinating fact. Might it be that someone, at some time, deemed this particular truth less than convenient? But I have said enough already. Well, he was creepy.
My ever-loyal associate, tell me, what have you learned from your questioning of the scholars in these halls? Indeed. As it happens, I have learned much the same. Let's take a moment to review and allow my peerless powers of deduction to work their magic. A war of succession divides the great civilization of Balladia, giving rise to the sibling nations of Ul'dah and Silda. The two nations coexist for some generations, until ill blood boils over, culminating in outright war. Daunted by Ul'dah's superior military might, Silda employs their advanced alchemical knowledge to horrific ends, transforming their own citizens, alive and dead, into a fearsome undead legion. Yes, I believe I have it. The facts at hand have led me to one unassailable conclusion. Our phantom thief is a descendant of doomed Silda, who seeks vengeance against those who reduced his countrymen to slavering zombies. To pacify his soul and send him peacefully to the next world, there is but one course of action. We must find the Sildan statesman who conceived this dreadful stratagem and have him apologize to the thief in person for the suffering he has wrought. Oh, Hildibrand, he's long dead. A brilliant plan. Perhaps you'd like to go find yourself a shovel and dig the statesman out of his grave yourself? Leaving aside this nonsense of spirits and specters, it appears increasingly likely that our quarry shares some link to Silda. His garish garb is no doubt meant to evoke the silver scales of the fallen sultanate. The Silden connection would also serve to explain the rare knowledge of Belladian relics our thief clearly possesses. But what of the murder victims? What common thread amongst them could have incurred the ire of our adversary? A few people in town spoke of a man sighted calling upon the victims in the past days. Those who saw him said he had a most frightened air about him. Wait, yes, it's coming to me. Of course! My keen investigator's senses ring out with a voice loud and clear. This man Miss Ellie speaks of just might know something. You really should stop thinking so hard. You're like to strain a brain muscle. Miss Ellie, who is this man and where might we find him?
My sources identified the man as Guguria, a traveling merchant known to frequent Horizon. Shall we pay him a visit? Oh wait, Horizon spells I can teleport. Alrighty. Oh, there he is.
My keen instincts tell me that Master Guguria's testimony will be key to a monumental breakthrough in our investigation. Yes, I shall employ the ancient mandible art of parley to skillfully extract the information we require.
Yes? If you've got business, make it quick. My time's too valuable to waste chatting with every stranger who passes by. Forgive us, good sir. My name is Ellie, a reporter with the Mithril Eye. Never blinking, all-seeing, you know the rest. I was wondering if we could trouble you with just a few questions.
Was it for love or money that you killed them? Yes, you, the thief of many faces.
Me? A thief? What is this nonsense? I don't know who you are, but I ain't got the time or the patience for this mummery. Now, if you'll excuse me, an important client awaits.
I thought I recognized that voice. Lady Dorilda! Well met indeed. Pray tell whatever brings you to these environs this fair morning.
Why, I live here, you ham-headed half-wit. Inspector Briarden. This is an unexpected pleasure. Do you have some business with my associate here, pray tell? Guguria, we can discuss business after. Pray lend the inspector here, the handsome one, whatever assistance he requires. But Lady Dorilda, what about... Ah, yes, my dear Maria's name day present. I had in mind one of the prize pieces from S-Fame's latest seasonal collection. You would be able to procure one for me, yes? Or shall I eliminate the middleman and make the trip to Ul'dah myself? I'll say it just once more, Guguria. I expect you to give the inspector and his companions your full assistance. They, yes, even the stupid one, helped me regain something truly priceless. Yes, something more valuable than any mere trinket. Aww. Alright, I'll tell you what I know. But you didn't hear it from me, got it? I was looking into the killing on behalf of a client of mine. The thief's got himself some of that zombie dust, the traitor's spurn, was it? And his card speaks of 5 victims. It got me to thinking, Silda, 5 victims? Aye, the Arbiters of Truth.
The Arbiters of Truth? I'm not familiar with the name.
Aye, few would be, on account of them being something of a secret society and all. Influential personages of the Sultanate, you see, working from the shadows to keep false knowledge about the Ul'dah-Silda conflict from reaching the ears of the folk like you and me.
False knowledge? Pray tell, just what sort of knowledge might that be?
Thall's balls, don't make me say no more. I've got a family to feed.
Very well. Just tell us one last thing. Who hired you, and where can we find him?
Hob. His name's Hob. When he heard what I said, he told me that he was going to set sail for Limsa with his 5 best sellswords to guard his back. Said there were many prying eyes at the airship docks. Said he had a private ship docked and waiting for him at Vesper Bay. But remember, you didn't hear none of this from me.
This man Hobb must be one of the killer's targets. Doubtless he also knows the identity of the remaining one.
I doubt that. They say the Arbiters are so secretive they don't even know each other's true identities. Now, don't ask me how that all works, but Hobbs got high-ranking friends in the Brass Blades. Once he heard the victims had been all zombified, he panicked. Guess he knew that he'd be next.
Thank you very much, my kind sir. Once again, the ancient Manderville of Parley has procured for us a key morsel of knowledge. Let us seek out this Hobb fellow and see what he can share with us. And let us hurry. The man's life is in danger, even as we speak.
Alright. Oh, wait. There's still people here.
Let's hear what this Hobb fellow has to say. Come, my ever-loyal associate. Let us away to Vesper Bay with all speed.
Come on, Ny'ardbert, run like the wind. Why would you mean fly? Because the wind doesn't run. Well. Master Hobb, is everything quite all right?
No, stand back, Ellie. Hunger. I hunger for your brains. Damn. There's no saving the man. Ny'ardbert, do what you must.
Combat? Oh, nope, it just happens in a cutscene.
Yes. My first-hand knowledge of zombies tells me this particular shade of green is unmistakably that of the undead. 'Twould seem we were a few moments late to the scene.
A message. And then there was one.
There it is again.
Is something the matter, Inspector?
Indeed, Nashu, there is. Ever since I picked up the trail of the Phantom Thief, I've had this fleeting sense. A sense that someone, or something, is watching us.
The thief might be close at hand. We should be careful.
For the moment, let us return and report our findings to Miss Phyllis. Secret society or no, knowing the identities of its members may yet lead us to the final victim.
I, too, had best return to the Mithril Eye. Let's meet up again after... I'll see what new clues I can uncover in the meantime.
You'll do nothing of the sort, Miss Ellie. These streets are far too dangerous for you to walk alone.
Inspector, I'll go with her.
If you insist, Nashu, then I give my leave. But pray be wary, not just of the thief, but of Miss Ellie. She has quite the temper, as we both know. Miss Ellie, there's something I must tell you when this case is over. Be safe, and promise me that you will not attempt anything rash, as you did that time when the fiend took aim at my own life.
Your life, at Costa del Sol. Yes, that was quite the ordeal, wasn't it? I'll be careful, I promise. I eagerly await the day when I may hear what it is that you would share with me.
A secret vow. Oh, consider my interest piqued as well, good Inspector. Now, let us be off. Miss Phyllis awaits our report.
back to Oba. For a quick double teleport. Some shifty-looking fellow was eyeing the vault before, but he took off faster than a fleeing cactar as soon as my gaze met his. Aye, just like a cowed many a garlean on the plains of... oh, it's you.
The news of Hobbs' death will not sit well with Miss Phyllis, but a gentleman must do what a gentleman must do.
A fourth victim. Thal have mercy. Were you able to glean aught of a connection to the other victims? The Arbiters of Truth? No, it cannot be. Somebody, help!
Miss Ellie?
Oh, sorry. Miss Ellie, the voice came from the direction of the vault. We must hurry. Wait, that isn't the vault that you're guarding?
Miss Ellie, are you hurt?
That man, I only thought to ask him a few questions. Before I knew what was happening, he was upon me. I could only...
Bash his brains with a conveniently placed bottle of mead, it would seem. Remind me not to get on your bad side, Miss Ellie. That said, is she not with you?
She saw a figure lurking in the shadows and went off in pursuit before I could stop her. This man wears the armor of a Sultan Storm squire, yet his face is unfamiliar to me. Something is amiss. The thief of many faces? To think we would find our man like this.
Thrice and again did the fiend elude our grasp, but no more. By virtue of a gentleman's ingenious deductions and a lady's pugilistic puissance, I declare this case closed. Man, should not be called reading this. I return this satchel to you, Miss Phyllis. Whilst the gesture was appreciated, in the end it proved superfluous to my cracking of the case.
While you're at it, is there anything else of immense value that you'd like to wantonly destroy? What is the meaning of this?
Ingenious. A double disguise, planted by the thief to throw us off his trail, no doubt.
This is Grigu, one of my most capable men. I assigned him to guard the vault and outfit him with an ample supply of demasking dust. It's inconceivable that the thief could so easily elude his grasp.
Unless the thief was not wearing a mask. Speaking of which, has anyone seen Miss Ellie?
No, that's impossible.
Of course. It all makes perfect sense. With the Phantom Thief to thank for her burgeoning readership and rise to the ranks of the Mithril Eye, Miss Ellie could not bear to face the possibility of her story of a lifetime coming to an end. Thus, she hatched a plan to...
My lady, the vault has been breached. The wise man's whisper, it's gone. For her foul crimes against the Sultanate, I hereby declare Ellie of the Mithril Eye, the thief of many faces, an enemy of the state. Deploy all troops and do not rest until she is in custody. And now the game is truly afoot.
Bah, what is the meaning of all this racket and rumpus? And just as we were about to make our triumphant return. Isn't that so, Enkidu?
Miss Ellie! Miss Ellie! The shadow you said you saw. I think it was just a dormouse. To think he'd literally stumbled face first into the second mask. His good fortune truly knows no end. But not to worry. Yes, I dare say the Phantom Thief has another trick or two up his sleeve. It doesn't fully add up. I feel like we're missing something here. It's like I'm pretty sure we saw Ellie in the same place as the thief previously. How could we have been so blind?
When you've eliminated the impossible, whatever remains, however improbable. My ever-loyal associate, we must find Miss Ellie, and quickly. Surely if confronted by her constant companions, she can still be convinced to abandon this fool plan. Oh, Miss Phyllis, I thought you'd already departed to the company of your men. But all for the better. Shall we conduct the search together?
I fear that would only put them at greater risk. You see, the fifth and final member of the Arbiters of Truth, the Phantom Thief's final target, is none other than...
Hildibrand Mander?
Me. Mind you, it is not a role I sought of my own accord. My name and my passion for history are somewhat well known in the Sultanate. One day I received an anonymous letter stating that a position in the committee had opened, and I had been chosen to fill it. The letter went on to enumerate my duties: to prevent the spread of historical lies that would sully the name of our illustrious nation. As a high-ranking officer in the Sultan's Sworn, I was deemed to be in a particularly unique position to serve as an arbiter. I knew that there were other members of the organization. I was told nothing of their names or identities. To think that my unknown compatriots were the victims all along. I cannot put any more lives in danger. I will sequester myself in a place where my presence can cause no harm until such time as the killer is apprehended.
Your concern for our well-being is most touching, Miss Phyllis, but there is no need for such caution. As a seasoned inspector, I am more than capable of protecting a lady in distress, and as a gentleman, that is exactly what I shall do. My associates here also stand at your side. Speaking of which, has anyone seen my loyal assistant?
Inspector! Over here!
Ah, there you are, Nashu. You really shouldn't run off on your own like that. I was worried sick about you.
I'm sorry, Inspector. Miss Ellie said she saw somebody in the shadows, so I went to take a look. Now, there wasn't anything there but a dormouse, but it was really a cute dormouse, you see? It just kept squeaking and scurrying away, and I just...
Pardon me for a moment, Nashu. Yes, my inspector's sense speaks to me. Someone is watching us. Ny'ardbert, let us split up and canvass our surroundings.
Did everybody split up? was expecting somebody to appear. There they are.
Where's Miss Ellie? Do you think she went looking for the dormouse too?
Apologies, Ny'ardbert, but I require a moment alone with my thoughts.
I cannot allow my presence to put my men in danger.
Water-stained letter. A water-stained letter lies conspicuously on the floor. Be wary and be warned. Trust no one, and your friends all the less. This will avail you well. Use it wisely. You obtain a sachet of demasking dust. In the next instant, you feel an intimidating presence behind you.
Ho, ho, ho! If it isn't my beloved son's staunch companion, the mighty Ny'ardbert. I was in the area on a matter of business which I curtailed when I felt a suspicious presence from the shadows. Pursuing it led me here. Mayhap it is the same for you?
More or less, yeah.
Oh, so your pursuit of the Thief of Many Faces has taken quite the unexpected turn, and now you've come upon a series of anonymous letters. Mayhap our watcher in the shadows is a friend, or is this but another trap laid by the fiend? Yes, the plot thickens like a dollop of salamander oil. In either event, I dare say the circumstances call for utmost caution. The thief could be anywhere, or anyone, myself excluded, of course. No mere mask could replicate the physique of this Manderville man. That said, I fear my dear Hildy may be in a bit over his head this time. Allow me to assist you in your investigation. Were anything to happen to Hildibrand, his dear mother would, not be pleased.
Same thing there. Same thing there. Same thing there. You! Something just isn't right. Yeah, it's you. You're what's wrong. I mean, there's other things here, but you are also bad. Is Hildibrand not around here, though? Uh-oh.
If the sender speaks true, the villain even now lurks within our midst, and yet we have but a single sachet of demasking dust at our disposal. We must identify the impostor beyond reasonable doubt before we proceed. You know the players better than I, Ny'ardbert. What say you have a few words with each of them and see if aught seems amiss?
Same thing. Oh. Is that meant to be a reminder that it might be Nashu? Because he's been stalking her forever long.
Am I doomed to share the same fate as the others? I'd sooner die than become one of those things.
I mean, imitating her wouldn't really do anything.
Miss Ellie is the Phantom Thief. It is the only logical conclusion, and yet I cannot help but feel that another truth still evades us.
Inspector Bryden told me all about it. Who'd have thought Miss Ellie was the Phantom Thief all this time? She sure fooled me. The Inspector sure is taking his time.
It makes no sense. There must be something we're missing.
Too much has happened in too short a span. I need more time to make sense of it all. But time is something we do not have.
Nothing particularly odd about any of them, you say. It stands to reason the fiend would not take such a risk if he were not utterly confident that he could pull off the ruse.
Curses. This one's not half the fool his son is. I must elude him, and quickly. Time is of the essence.
I questioned the Sultan sworn outside. To a man they insist they have seen naught of Miss Ellie. Wherever could she have gone? Father? What brings you here?
Yes, finally the pieces are coming together. Now, if you would kindly stand still and shut up, the fiend already stands among us.
Inspector Briarden, I should hope you are not doubting me.
While I'm quite convinced that even a master impersonator would struggle to recreate your particular brand of idiocy, the fact remains that anyone here who spent even a moment alone must be considered a suspect. The thief has proven to be highly efficient in assuming new identities.
An astute observation, my gangly friend. I'd say this occasion calls for a dose or two of that powder Ny'ardbert has found earlier. There wouldn't happen to be another sachet or two lying about, would there?
What remains of our supply has already been distributed to the search party. But worry not, they should be reporting back within a bell's time. Time might be against me, but just you watch. I'll wiggle my way out of this and turn you into the reeking, drooling corpse you deserve to be.
I fear that it is more time than we can afford, Miss Phyllis. Fortunately, my powers of deduction will lay the fiend's face bare within minutes. We know that, given the choice, the thief prefers to impersonate familiar personages. As Miss Ellie has had only passing interactions with my dear father, we can safely eliminate him from consideration. That leaves myself, Nashu, and Ny'ardbert here. Nashu and I, in particular, have had a close and extended relationship with our suspect. I shall begin by questioning my known assistant. I assure you that none know her better than I.
Brilliant reasoning as ever, Inspector. Go on, ask me anything. Of all the times for this overstuffed balloon to start talking sense, if he asks me anything too obscure, my cover's good as blown.
My relationship with Nashu is so close, I dare say at times it's as if we share a mind. If this Nashu is truly my ever-loyal assistant, she should have no trouble completing my thoughts. Ahem. I'm Manderville.
Man.
Doing what only a Manderville
can.
From the peaks of Kurthus to Thanalan, Manderville.
Man, you're the best, Inspector.
A perfect score. You may rest easy, dear friends. This is unmistakably, unequivocally, indubitably the true Nashu.
I've never loved you more than now, you marvelous muttonhead, you.
Nashu, is something the matter? Just because you've picked up a few more wrinkles beneath the eyes, there's no need to avert that charming face of yours.
Wrinkles? Wrinkles? Look who's talking, you crusty, cretinous old... Genius Inspector?
The charade is up, Miss Ellie. Miss Ellie, you look somehow different.
I was all but certain that Ellie was our thief. What is the meaning of this?
Another two-layered mask, mayhap? But no, this woman bears a striking resemblance to Miss Ellie.
I was doing Ny'ardbert's voice there.
My prodigious powers of deduction scream out to me, this woman knows something. So the letter spoke true. The fiend was in our midst all along.
Seven hells, done in by a muscle-bound muttonhead and his motley troop of mummers.
Just who are you? Your resemblance to Miss Ellie is most uncanny, and yet...
Consulting Inspector Briarden, once again you failed to measure up to your lofty reputation. Of course we resemble each other. Ellie is, after all, my own flesh and blood, my beloved sister, and my eminently capable partner in crime. 1,000 faces I may wear, but only one name do I bear. You can call me Cece. Charmed, I'm sure. Are you quite all right? Why, you look as if you've seen a ghost. Despite my moniker, I assure you that Ellie and I are no specters. What we are, mind you, are the last living scions of Sylvan aristocracy. Bemused, are you? Befuddled to find two sisters behind the mask. Try using your brains once in a while. Every time you encountered the thief, Ellie was standing right there in your midst. No, the thief that 4 times stole the show, oh, and those priceless relics, was me. Meanwhile, Ellie hid in plain sight, supplying me with just the knowledge I needed to stay one step ahead of my pursuers, all while spinning the hair-raising tales of my exploits that won the hearts of this nation. We owe a lot to you. Truly. Why, without the tales of your hapless attempts to catch me, we never could have risen to these heights of celebrity.
Miss Cece, from a gentleman to a lady, I would ask you one thing and one thing only. Just what is it that you and Miss Ellie hope to accomplish with all of your schemes?
Justice! 400 years ago, Uldan dogs reduced our great nation to a nation of zombies. At long last, the cowards would still justify these foul deeds will suffer the same fate.
Wait, the history says that it was Silda that turned their own men into zombies.
The histories lie, and you work from the shadows, silencing those who would speak the truth. You should have died with your fellows, false arbiter. It was Ulda that ordered the creation of that dreadful powder, and wielded it as a weapon against our proud ancestors. The history of your glorious sultanate is built on a lie.
What is this madness you speak, woman?
Not madness, truth. The powder in my possession was stolen from the Uldan army 4 centuries ago by one of my ancestors. They say it was his final act of courage, in the moments before his leg fell off and his rotting head dropped from his shoulders. This is the truth that the histories don't tell. The truth that this doe-eyed sultan-sworn would kill to keep buried deep in the sands of Thanalan. But your time of reckoning is nigh. Oh yes, before long you, and everyone in this rotten nation, will know firsthand the horrors my ancestors knew.
And just what do you mean by that?
Oh, how the idiots lap up the stories. A masked crusader for justice, a dashing rebel waging battle against power and authority. Oh, if only they knew. But they will see soon enough, when they're eating each other's brains out on the streets. In the last days before our proud nation was razed to the ground, a band of the final survivors stole a vast quantity of the powder from the Uldan vaults, hiding it away in a secret vault sealed with powerful magics. The sole means by which the vault may be opened? By assembling 4 secret relics from Baladia. 4 relics once housed in the royal palace of Silda before the Uldan dogs stole them and claimed them for their own. And so it dawns upon you at last. Yes, even as we speak, Ellie makes for the vault, the 4 relics safely in hand. Just think, one day you'll be able to tell your grandchildren you were there, when zombie powder rained down on Uldan. No, wait, you'll all be dead.
Preposterous.
But first, you, my dear. You will not even have the pleasure of looking upon the last moments of your precious homeland. Let your flesh rot like all of your rotten lies.
I think not, Miss Cece. Hildibrand.
You idiot! Just for once, could you not get in the way? Ny'ardbert Manderville! I can't even trust your sorry arse to look after him a day?
I knew it! That presence watching over us from the shadows. It was you, my dear wife. Am I to understand that you are Hildibrand's mother?
Aye, this is more like it. Hand to hand, skillet to skillet. It's enough to send a warrior's pulse racing. Prepare yourself, Ny'ardbert. The time of our final confrontation is nigh.
Uh-oh?
Oh. Do you have potatoes for brains, you overstuffed buffoon? My beloved boy's been turned into a stinking corpse you haven't bloody noticed. You! Ny'ardbert or something, was it?
Yes, ma'am.
Hildy's told me all about your hijinks together. Pleased to meet you. My dear boy's always had a bit of a rebellious streak. What can I say? I can come on a bit too strong at times. But can you blame me? This time I thought I'd sit back and leave things to my sorry-arse husband here. And look what that got me. Help me out, won't you? Alright, sorry. A bit of more of a substantial cut there than I had originally intended. Because I had to take a break between the filming sessions for this, but it's the next day, more or less, and we're back.
Hildibrand still appears to be dead. Ny'ardbert and Cece are unconscious. Ellie is still missing. Let's see where things go from here.
Inspector Hildibrand's mother?
I dare say it's quite clear who wears the pants in the family, so to speak.
Reunited with my dear boy for the first time in ages, and just look at him. He's green. Fortunately, there's still time to reverse the zombie curse, and I know just the remedy. A phial of holy water. The ingredients are simple, a tatter of oversoul rags and a phial of twice distilled water. St. got at the market stocks the former, and the latter you can procure from a trader by the name of Guest. Now hurry, once the poison spreads throughout his veins, no antidote will save him.
In the meantime, I will search for the bumbler's bumbling assistant. With any luck, Ms. Nashu is still alive.
Ouch. That smarts. Egads, Hildy, you're looking none too hearty yourself.
No thanks to you, you bumbling oaf. Now, are you going to accompany Ny'ardbert here and make yourself useful, or do I have to reintroduce you to that wall?
But of course, milady. Gilgamesh is ever at your service. Got sundries, was it? Come now, Ny'ardbert, there is work to be done.
Alright. A piece of oversoul rags from St. God's sundries and a bottle of twice distilled water from the trader Guest. Now hurry, goddammit! My dear boy's life is at stake. Yes, ma'am.
Oversoul rags, you say? I fear there are only a single tatter left in stock, and it's already been spoken for. But my good man, you must reconsider. My dear friend's life, and quite possibly mine own as well, hangs in the balance. I sympathize with your plight, friend, but a man has to make a living. I've been promised a copious supply of rare chimera membrane for these rags. Unless you could offer me the same, no deal. Gah. And you expect us to be able to summon such a rarity out of nowhere at a moment's notice?
Well, look what we have here. If it isn't the Warrior of Light from the Colosseum. Funny who you meet at the markets. Oh, look at that. As it happens, I just returned from my training, and the slaying of 10 chimeras just happened to be my task for the day. If it's chimera membrane you seek, you're more than welcome to a share. Thank you.
My lady, you're far too kind.
Don't mention it. If it hadn't been for Inspector Hildibrand and Ny'ardbert here, I'd still be teeming with that slimy beast and cheating my way to fame and fortune. And I'm a woman who pays her debts.
Paul, take me if that wasn't a Veil of the Tempest. Ever since she confessed to her trickery and started climbing back up from the bottom of the ranks, I've been proud to call myself one of her biggest fans. Why, I've half a mind to give you the rags for you seek simply for the privilege of meeting her. A kind sentiment, my good man. We are more than happy to uphold our side of the bargain, aren't we, Ny'ardbert? And with this, our task here is done. Now, let us find this traitor named Guest.
Likely outside the city, right? Oh no, it's over there. The blundering Manderville boy is on his last legs, and you need something of mine to save him, you say? Perhaps you can give me a good reason why I should care. Those bloody Mandervilles are richer than the traders themselves, yet they have the audacity to haggle me down to the last gillah for every purchase. If the family line ended today, I'd be a happier and wealthier man. And now, I believe the ballroom calls. Good day to you, and do pass along my condolences to the grieving parents.
Have you not a shred of honor or compassion in that spindly body? Business rival or no, the man is on death's doorstep.
After the events of that day, my father will not so easily forgive and forget. But it matters not to me. No, oh wait, sorry, this is someone else. Whatever. No, my love for you is as deep as the seven seas. I beg of you, milady, may I have this dance? Ny'ardbert, what a lovely surprise. Are you here for the ball, perchance? I'm here to actually try to save Hildibrand. Heavens,
poor Inspector.
Well, if it isn't the Lapis Maiden in the flesh, what say you bid farewell to preening fops and scruffy adventurers and share a dance with a cultured gentleman befitting your great beauty?
Why, it would be a pleasure and an honor both, my lord. Provided you first provide my good friend Ny'ardbert with the bottle of twice distilled water that he seeks.
You know this man? Bah, if that is the price you would set, then so be it. Take it. It's barely worth its weight in gil anyway. Now, shall we, Miss Arabella?
Thank you so much. I hope this doesn't suck.
I knew Hildy to be a worthy rival, but to think he was this beloved by so many. Clearly the realm would deeply mourn his loss. Quickly, Ny'ardbert, let's deliver these goods while there is still time to save him.
I trust the two of you wouldn't dare to come back empty-handed. There you go. So what is an oversoul rag? Tattered cloth taken from the raiment of a powerful wraith. In a second pass through an alchemic has removed nearly all of the impurities once contained in this water. Bloody brilliant. Aye, I'd take you over my muscle-headed half-wit of a husband any day. Oh. Now stand back, let me show you some real Manderville home cooking. Thal, you bloody bugger, guide my skillet. Aye, that should stop its spread. Now it's up to Hildy to flush what's left of it out of his system. Don't worry, he's my son after all. I reckon he's still got some fight left in him.
Look who I found. She was slumbering obliviously in a rubbish-strewn corner of Pearl Lane.
Boy, did that nap feel good.
Yes, I'm sure it did. Ny'ardbert, word has it that Ellie has been sighted at the Sildin ruins. We must go there with all haste.
Where is Cece? You've done well by my dear boy today. Don't worry, I'll handle things from here. There's a nice warm bed for him, and I think I know a few specialists who might know a thing or two about his condition. What the seven hells are you standing around for? The future of Ulda's at stake.
Ny'ardbert, my strength is yours as well. For Ulda, and for our friend Hildy.
You remind me of my husband. What with you having more muscles than sense. If you're so keen on making yourself useful, why don't you run to the markets and bring me some fire crystals? Keeping my dear boy warm is key to fighting off the zombification. Let's see, I believe 20 crates or so should suffice?
I'm a warrior, not a... yes, milady.
Cutscene blocked by a seasonal tree.
I say, Enkidu, the burden we must bear simply to secure my long-awaited final confrontation with Ny'ardbert. That said, the events of today have given me cause to reflect. Ny'ardbert and Hildy both. Oh, to be blessed with such veritable legions of friends, tried and true. But alas, not I. No, only one true friend have I ever known, and she is long lost to me. You're a fine bird, and have given me great comfort in my travels, but you will never be Enkidu, my one and true companion. Oh, my friend, were you here with me, even Ny'ardbert could not stand against our combined might. Oh, Enkidu, wherever you may wander, hear my words and return here to my side. Enkidu, do you hear me? Enkidu! Egads, what was that flash from the heavens? It nearly blinded me. And what? The crystals? Where have they gone? Fancy meeting you here, old friend. That voice, could it be? My faithful companion, why must you always make me wait so?
Okay, so Cece is definitely missing now. Did we just let her go? Her last vow. What are you doing dilly-dallying around here? Let me jog your memory. There's a moonsick maid digging around at the Silda excavation site with her mind set on turning Ulda to the land of the walking dead. Your concern for Hildy is most touching, but don't you worry, Mommy Dearest isn't going to let her beloved son kick the buckets that easily. Okay. So where is this excavation site? There it is. Oh, you did bring her. Oh, no, this is a different set. Okay. We've managed to track down Miss Ellie just up ahead, where your friends watch over her as we speak. Yet, no matter how many times we try to reach out to her, she refuses to so much as answer. Needless to say, we considered physically incapacitating her, but that crate she's sitting on isn't just a makeshift chair. It's filled to the brim with the traitor's sperm. One misstep and the consequences could be dire indeed. You are our only hope, Ny'ardbert. Even in her single-minded rage, surely the time you spent together must still count for something. You need not put yourself in undue danger. I only ask that you step forth to where your voice may be heard and call out your friend's name. I beg of you, Ny'ardbert. Surely, if anyone could convince the woman to abandon her madness, it's you. The chat mode and say, use your keyboard or the software keyboard to call out Ellie, and convince your erstwhile friend and your companion to listen to reason. Okay. Let us get closer.
Oh, to think this girl and her sister were behind the crimes all along. I dare say this realm is awash with capable adversaries.
You're telling me.
You do well not to anger the last friend.
She's sitting atop an ample supply of that zombie powder, and I suspect she's not afraid to use it.
Miss Ellie, and I thought we were friends.
It beggars belief that I could have been so blind. Alright, I'm here. Ellie! Ny'ardbert, I suggest you leave this place while you still can. I bear you no grudge, but should you so much as think of interfering, I'll not hesitate to turn you into a zombie too.
So it was you, after all. Consider me disappointed. your sister Cece is already in custody. Surrender now, and I will see that no harm befalls her.
How little you understand us, Inspector. Then again, how could one born into a life of power and privilege ever hope to understand? Cece and I have no family, no friends, no fortune, nothing. 2 sisters against the world, with our only quest for justice to give us meaning. Long ago we made a vow. Should the worst happen, our mission takes priority over all. Yes, over our own wretched lives. Do you see now? Anything I might once had to lose, I lost long ago. Now stand down or suffer the same fate as the Uldan dogs you would defend.
Ellie, stop this madness.
I'm sorry, Inspector.
There's too many of them.
All in a day's work for a Mandaril man, and now it's hammer time!
You only delay the inevitable. I have an entire legion of the undead at my beck and call. Face it, it's only with Inspector Hildibrand's ridiculously good fortune that you even made it this far, and he's as good as 6 foams under.
Be forewarned, girl. Know that I speak from experience when I say, underestimate Hildy, and you do so at your own peril.
I'm afraid you underestimated me as well. No mere splash of holy water can stave off the effects of the traitor's spurn. I fear the good inspector's luck has finally run out.
Balls. Is there no end to them? I'm not liking our chances. Greg, was it?
It's a shame to lose you, Ny'ardbert. Warrior of light that you are, you might yet have served one last purpose for us. Go forth, my zombie minions! Darkness falls, and hope fades to despair. 4 warriors born of light shall descend in the righteous glare. Bugger me with a broadsword, are my eyes to be believed? That pose. No, these are not 4 warriors of light that I see. They are 4 gentlemen of light.
Just so, my good man. Hildibrand, Agent of Enquiry, Inspector Extraordinaire, has made his triumphant return. Did you miss me?
Aye, we meet again, girl. Tell me you've got my snurble tonic, or I'll fashion myself a wig from your lovely locks after I've ripped them clean from your bloody head.
Oh, hello there, Mr. Eleazar. Cor, you're looking absolutely resplendent today. Impossible. The holy water couldn't have cured him.
It didn't. Fortunately, our overlord spent quite some time building up an immunity to zombie powder. When we heard that Master Ny'ardbert was at risk of joining the actual dead, we knew we had to take action.
An immunity to... I'm just going to pretend that makes any kind of sense. The game is up, Miss Ellie. Pray abandon this madness. Besides, plots of mass murder hardly suit a lady like yourself. It's over. It's all over. Inspector Briarden, you said there was something you would tell me when all was through. I imagine you have no words for me now. Ellie, your powers of deduction are wanting. You said that you had lost everything and everyone you had to lose, did you not? As for me, I have found something. Someone with whom I intend never to part. I care not if it takes years, even decades. When you emerge from your jail cell a free woman, I will be there. What say you?
Miss Ellie, while the crimes perpetrated by you and your sister are unpardonable, you are far from the only ones guilty. On behalf of the Syndicate, I offer my apologies for the false aspersions cast upon your ancestors. You said that the nation of Ul'dah was built on lies. Seeing what I have seen today, I cannot deny your words. It will not be an easy task to rewrite, nay, restore history. But know this, I will do everything in my power to bring the truth to the fore.
Are we not forgetting someone here? And by someone, I mean me. If you're quite done playing Cloak and Dagger, I require Ny'ardbert's presence for a matter of far greater importance. The time of our too long delayed confrontation is nigh.
Really?
Why the long face, friend? But mayhap this will have you singing a happier tune.
Could it be? The treaty blade, and the true one at that.
None other, and I have not the slightest intention of parting with it, save to the one who would defeat me in single combat. But I misspeak. It will not be single combat this time. Is that my cue, old friend?
all be merciful. What is that abomination? Some new breed of void scent?
Abomination? I'll thank you to address my companion with courtesy, girl. But 'twas the most curious thing. There I was, hauling a crate full of crystals for Hildy's mother, and thinking how much better things would be if my dear friend Enkidu were here. And came a flash from the heavens, and the next thing I knew, there she was.
By the gods, it makes perfect sense. Doubtless the crystals heard Greg's heartfelt plea, summoning forth his friend. Nay, no mere friend, but rather the primal Enkidu. And this world has now completely and utterly ceased to be bound by the laws of logic.
Ny'ardbert, you may have bested me in the past, but facing the two of us together will not prove so easy a task. And yet, I trust you will not shirk from the challenge. Aye, Enkidu and I shall await you at Amdapor Keep. "'Tis a ways from here, but what better venue for our climactic confrontation? If you would claim the treaty blade, then claim it from me as a warrior. To the skies, Enkidu, to the skies!"
Two against one. That's not very gentlemanly of you, Greg. Come, Ny'ardbert, to Amdapor.
This is a grave development indeed. To think that one man could summon a primal on his own. I must send words to the Scions at once. They'd just send me. Oh! But of course! I had near forgotten we had a warrior of light in our very midst. Please, Ny'ardbert, you are our only hope to slay the primal and reclaim the blade. Alright. A lot of talking, and then we'll head on over there. All's well that ends well, eh, Ny'ardbert? Hildy's undead acquaintances were kind enough to make an appearance at my request. Who'd have thought zombies could be such gentlemen? I reckon it must be my son's good influence.
Ho, ho, ho! I knew that if anything could bring Hildy back from the undead, it would be my dear wife's hand-mixed holy water. That's the world-class culinarian I married.
The gentlemen of light. Core, they were every bit as radiant as I pegged them to be. One day I'll be a hero myself, just you watch. After 400 years, this might very well spell the end for the Arbiters of Truth. Whether or not to replace the Fallen is a decision for my superiors to make. In either event, I've decided to renounce my position. I thought they were but white lies, but I have seen firsthand the suffering they can cause. Ellie, forgive me. I'm sorry for deceiving you, Ny'ardbert. For what it's worth, it wasn't personal.
And with that, my work here is done. You were by far the least incompetent associate I encountered in my travels. For preserving some shred of my sanity, you have my thanks. That said, my time in this land was not a total loss. My experiences here have taught me an important lesson. That this world and the fools who populate it rarely, if ever, abide by the principles of logic. This should serve me well in my future cases. And most importantly of all, I leave here with a vow that has given my life new meaning. But this is no time for sentiment.
Look at the Inspector go! I'm right behind you, Inspector!
And I right behind you now, Shu. Let's head on over to Amdapor Keep.
Alright. A giant of a man dressed in red rushed into the keep at great speed, leaving me powerless to stop him. You don't suppose he was one of the cultists?
Is that you, Ny'ardbert? Pray forgive me. I was right on Greg's trail when I encountered a subterranean curiosity that demanded my immediate attention. I will be concluding my investigation forthwith, but in the meantime, might I trouble you to entertain Greg and his primal friend in my stead? Together we will reclaim the treaty blade from that knave, Ny'ardbert. Yes, just go on ahead. I'll be along directly.
Alright. Let's go fight Gilgamesh. And let's see if I need backup or not.
At long last we meet again on the battlefield. I dare say Enkidu shall come to enjoy our tussles as much as I. You, however, might not find this one so enjoyable. Unless you enjoy getting pounded senseless. Ha!
Alright. It's just me and you and you. Alright, let's see which one I focused on first.
To my side, Enkidu. The battle is joined! This should cut you down to size.
Ah, it turned into a chicken.
Yay! It hurts! It hurts! Enkidu, your master wants for succor!
Ah!
Fancy some feathers, bird brain?
Alright, let's scrap this and try again.
Fight on, Enkidu, my ever-faithful. Enkidu!
Alright.
Are the bonds for friendship so fragile? Me? Run away? I was but seeking out a more suitable spot to celebrate my inevitable victory. But enough exposition. Now we fight like men. And ladies who dress like men. For Gilgamesh, it's transmogrifying time! The mightiest war ever to grace Eorzea stands before you. By which I mean I, Gilgamesh. Prepare yourself.
Alright. Let's go, Gilgamesh.
Get no quarter from me this time. Have at thee! You have some skill, I'll give you that. but Gilgamesh has only just begun to fight. Most impressive. Very well. I too shall fight with all my strength. And now for something truly shocking. No, the mighty Gilgamesh will not be defeated! To think that my full complement of arms would avail me not. No more hijinks from Gilgamesh. You have my word. The treaty blade too I shall return, just as soon as I remember where I hid it. Anyway, yield to your unparalleled puissance. Spare my insignificant life, I plead with you.
We're cool, Greg. Did I pronounce that word right? Puissance?
Never, never again. This I do solemnly swear.
Oh, I got an Enkidu! Hell yeah.
Not! I lied. Again, like a rug. You can take that fusty old blade for all I care. I thirst for true power, and not save all the strongest of swords will suffice. Warrior of Light, you have proven a worthy opponent, but I warn you, treasure every moment with your weapon. For as sure as day follows night, the hour will come when I claim it as mine own. Till we meet again.
Man, I hope he doesn't take this sword. I'd have to go beat up Shiva to get a new one.
What ho, Ny'ardbert? Have you seen Greg and his oversized avian companion? Lead me to them at once, and we shall deliver the coup de grace together.
I coup de grace them myself, actually.
The battle has already been won. That is triumphant news indeed. Clearly the lessons you have learned from me have not been for naught. And what's this you say? The treaty blade lies hidden somewhere in the nearby wood. Worry not, my ever-loyal associate, for no buried treasure will escape the keen eye of Hildibrand, agent of enquiry and inspector extraordinaire. Now, which way was the forest again?
Oh my god, dude. You brought the whole crew all the way here? Ny'ardbert, what news of the Primal and the Treaty Blade? The Primal's been slayed, the Treaty Blades we're finding currently. Remarkable. I knew the Warrior of Light would emerge triumphant. Let's hope that Inspector Hildibrand enjoys similar success in finding the blade.
Such design, such craftsmanship. At once bold and powerful, yet sensitive and refined. I believe I found the inspiration for my next masterpiece.
Of course they're beautiful. They were the greatest treasures of Lost Silda. To think that they were locked away in the vaults of those that destroyed our homeland and dragged our ancestors' names through the mud.
And just how did you come to know of these long-lost relics?
There was an ancient scroll passed down in our family, left to us by our dear grandmother. It spoke of the 4 warriors of light, their 4 relics, and an incantation of untold power. If we could have wielded this magic of legend, Ellie and I might have still had the last laugh. Alas, speaking the words had no effect. Only a warrior of light could wield the power, or so the legend goes. But I wouldn't have given to see it. The ultimate achievement to the greatest mages the realm has ever known.
And just what sort of incantation is this?
The ring casts open the doors of justice, the wise man whispers a verdict true, Azema's virtue shines down from the heavens. To complete the incantation, the warrior of light would then hold the treaty blade and speak, "Blade in hand, I swear unto you." Legends differ as to what happens next, but it all speaks of a great holy radiance shining down from the heavens.
Over here, friends! Hildibrand, Agent of Enquiry, Inspector Extraordinaire, returns with tidings most triumphant. Behold, safe in my hands, none other than the treaty blade, and the real one this time, I swear unto you.
Yes, just like that. I swear unto you, then...
My word, whatever is this odd tingling sensation?
Ridiculous. Hildibrand isn't a warrior of light. He's just some fool who thought he could stop the lesser moon with his own bare hands.
It would seem that the treaty blade is just as confused as the rest of us.
No, the light. Someone stop it. I won't stand to see the legendary power of our forefathers wielded by this muscle-bound buffoon.
Skyward ho! Well, I dare say that proved to be a most useful incantation indeed.
And so the light of justice that shone from the treaty blade banished the shadow, returning peace to the land. So the legend ended. I must say, I never expected to be quite literally a beam of light. I suppose it wouldn't have been much use to us after all. Inspector! Oh, Inspector, wait for me! False balls, Hildy. First you almost die at your poor mother's feet, now you fly off to God's nowhere without even giving her a kiss goodbye.
Ho ho ho! It appears that a case of wanderlust has once again struck Hildibrand. As it has many a Manderville man before him, Godspeed, my boy. When the day comes that you tire of mystery solving, your dear old man will be here to pass on to you the family art.
So in the end, the Silden incantation was wielded not by a warrior of light, but a gentleman of light. Well, the treaty blade is some 6 centuries old after all. Perhaps it's not quite as sharp as it used to be. Magic that brought peace and happiness to the world of Belladia. It was Every bit as beautiful as I imagined. To think I would see it with my own eyes. It's nothing short of a dream come true.
He bumbles and stumbles through yet another case, and still he manages to make a girl's dream come true. A gentleman to the end. The bloody bastard. What's this? A glint in the corner of my eye? A curious scent wafting in on the winds from a far-flung land? Do I smell a case? Worry not for me, my friends, for wherever the wronged want for succor, I, Hildibrand, shall be there. Till next we meet again! Hildibrand will return?